Well, time now for Media Watch. James Creedon has been keeping a close eye on all the top stories. And of course, the top story, James, is, of course, this tragic story about migrants from the Middle East and Africa trying to make it to Europe and boats sinking. We've got an emergency summit going on today in Brussels. Not so many solutions coming out of that, but let's have a look at how it's been covered.
All right,
today.
well, it's been the big topic, I suppose, not just today, but all week, Laura.
Absolutely.
We've been looking at it. And just to start with how NGOs and associations have been using social media and using kind of publicity stunts, if you like, to draw attention to the issue, Amnesty International being, of course, one of the main ones. Don't Let Them Drown, which actually became a hashtag on social media. There was also this event on Brighton Beach in the UK where 200 people got into body bags. And that it did indeed provide a very striking visual sort of impact that then went viral on Vine and on various social media. And Kate Allen, who is Amnesty's UK director, was very vocal. She said, history will judge us for turning our backs while people drowned. In other words...
But people are not turning their backs, are they? That's a little unfair. I was just speaking to someone from Save the Children, and she said their donations have spiked, and people have been signing their petition and saying, what can we do?
But I think the whole idea is they're trying to put maximum pressure on the politicians at the point when decisions are being taken. So I think
they're doubling funding for search and rescue.
That's right.
For the border surveillance.
This was another event in Brussels. You can see coffins and the images of death and all of that very much present and indeed echoing the reality. That was one...
It was really sad to see that written on the coffins.
Awful. No name. That was actually a boy who was about 10 years... Well, they estimate about 10 years of age, and it was just a number, 132. And indeed, the whole issue is, I suppose, this has been going on now for years. This is an image from 5th of October 2013 in Lampedusa, one of the Italian islands most struck by this. 360 people went down in a boat, and
sometimes we don't know their names, we don't know where they came from, we don't know who their families were.
That's right.
It's really
it's an issue that there's obviously many aspects to the issue, the whole migration issue, whether they should be taken in as refugees, how to stop the flow. There's all sorts of elements, but the issue has been there for years now, and I suppose the point is, really it is time for action.
The UN warned this would happen. The UN Refugee Agency warned if they cut the Mare Nostrum rescue service, it would happen, and it has.
Indeed.
So we're seeing the horrible results of that today. Cartoonists are always very good at getting a message across in a poignant way. You've been looking at some of them today.
That's right. In particular, there it is, the cartoonist for Le Monde, Plantu. He has been looking at the extent to which Italy is sort of on its own in many ways, not fully, but really at the forefront of this issue. It is the country in the Mediterranean that is most affected by it. So you can see there migrants extending a hand looking for help from Italy, Italy in turn sort of turning to Brussels and the EU in general to say, help us, we can't do this on our own. Now, the image, as I said before, of the Mediterranean Sea as a cemetery has been a recurring one being used by cartoonists during the week, and often they're I suppose, contrasting it. Whoops, I seem to have lost the other one. There it is, with the fact that the Mediterranean is also a holiday.
Always associated with holidays and fun on the beach and that kind of thing. And
absolutely,
now it's a very different story.
That's right. And of course, who is responsible for this? Who should be held accountable? The people, the traffickers themselves, in being depicted here in the form of the Grim Reaper. Welcome on board. Obviously, they are a chief and central concern in terms of resolving the issue. But also, I suppose, politicians in Europe, some of them there, Je suis migrant, I am a migrant, and that indeed adopting the Je suis Charlie meme. In other words, hey guys, if you were on the boat, how would you respond? And I think it is a fair point. Kate Allen, Amnesty UK director, also said...
Why have they got Netanyahu and Mahmoud Abbas in there?
I think they just plucked that from the streets of Paris. It's not a fully accurate, rendition. But I think the point being made, if the equivalent of 5 passenger planes full of people have drowned in the last week alone, and if they had been holidaymakers or Europeans, etc., the response would be, I think it's fair to say the response has been very vocal this week.
I think it has. I think people have really been touched by this tragedy, and they want to help and they want to do something. Just to mention, I saw a columnist in the Times, I think he wrote jet skis at one end of the Mediterranean and bloated corpses on the other. Which
this is it. It's a horrible image, but it has an impact for sure.
Right. James, thank you very much indeed. A sad story, and one we will keep talking about here on France 24. That's it for Media Watch.